174 pounds, Bubba Wilson for Nebraska. Sam Skillings, opposite line for the Gophers. Wilson ranked 29th in the country, 10-5 for the Cornhuskers. Skillings suffering his second defeat of the season this past Monday, losing to Patrick Kennedy of Iowa 13-2. There's Sam Skillings from Menominee, Wisconsin, the redshirt junior. Wilson falling to Kennedy last Friday night, 9-5. Competitive dual meet here in Minneapolis. Both these teams looking for their first Big Ten dual meet victory. Both 0-1 with losses to Iowa. Fun night of wrestling here in the Big Ten Network. Jim, when you look at Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, Purdue, we watched a lot of that, and this third dual meet with Nebraska, Minnesota. What are a couple of things that are top of mind for you looking at these teams?
Well, first of all, looking at the Penn State team, we might be looking at one of the best teams in wrestling history here is what they've got going on with these guys. And then the guys that are kind of solidifying spots in the lineup look to be improving. And you see the type of improvement we saw last year with Bo Bartlett and Shane Van Ness, and Levi Haynes for that matter. It really bodes well for them in the national tournament. It's, had to set a line on it, it'd be probably close to 60 between the first and second place teams, and so I think that's what I see. I think Iowa's getting a little bit better. You're getting a lot of value, I think, out of the guys like Glazier at 197. Kind of like what he's been able to do. He's done a nice job at 97 in some key spots for them, and they're building that lineup back up, but Real Woods has to continue to be that leader, and Drake Ayala had a great opportunity today going against Matt Ramos. So that's a guy that you got to get a lot of feel from. You got to get a lot of, understand all the things that Ramos has. He's got a lot of tricks. He's got a lot of savvy, and I have to think that was a huge confidence builder there for Matt Ramos to walk back into Carver Hawkeye Arena and get a big win over what Ayala was, the #1 ranked wrestler in the country.
4-1 final score. Iowa over Purdue, 34-6. Penn State, 27-9 over Michigan.
Yeah, and the match itself here between Ayala and Ramos, was the difference between one guy finishing his shots and the other guy not.
Scoreless 40 seconds here in this first period.
Back to the center. Now move forward. Move forward. No. Forward, Sam. Match his pressure. Move forward.
A lot of hard heat fighting here in this first period. Collar ties.
15, stay forward up.
Get news, highlights, and analysis on The Big Show. It's coming up next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Plenty of wrestling highlights on The Big Show. Wilson goes on bottom, works to his feet off the whistle.
1, 2.
You hear that count, the drop down count. If it hits 5, it's a stall call on Skillings. He's able to work up, and Wilson on the board as he tallies an escape. For me, Jim, I gotta say, Mitchell Messenbrink at 165, nearly stalling out All-American Cameron Amin. That's the biggest takeaway for me tonight.
Well, again, it's the improvement of these guys in that line wrestling room. And Messenbrink, I agree with you, and we talked about it. It wasn't necessarily anything technical, and it wasn't that Amin was, looked tired out there or anything like that, as much as it was just the hustle and giving his opponent a lot to react to, then pretty soon he finds himself out in the outer third of the mat. And it's just a bad visual. And we got a chance to do that interview with him here. He's an enlightened guy. Basically wanted to have, it's more than I just want to have fun out there, but I want to be grateful. I want to go out there and be on the attack and looking for opportunities.
Basically said, do I want to win or do I want to wrestle? And there's a difference there. Of course you want to win, but he wants to open it up, put on a show, score some points, win positions, capitalize on the opportunities to wrestle at this level.
Particularly it's your first big year out there. You want to absorb all that and keep things loose and keep firing out there, because that's where you can, it's going to wrestle and learn kind of go together here. Winning is something else.
Messenbrink over a mean 11-1 in our first duel of the night. One nothing match, third period.
Shane, when I was coaching, I didn't really spend a lot of time. I didn't like wrestle-offs. I didn't like all the things you got to do in the beginning of the season to put a team together. And you got some guys that are, you got to select the team somehow, and you go through a wrestle-off process. Didn't like that because I didn't like coaching. I just didn't like the competition. I always felt we weren't ready for wrestle-offs. Okay. But, then you go out there and you wrestle a bunch of open tournaments, you get a lot of competition, and you get a chance to go out there and correct some mistakes. You're coaching in generalities a lot with whole teams, so everybody can kind of learn. And they don't really focus on winning individual matches and situations until about February rolls around, and that's when you really start focusing on how do we win tight matches, how do we go about that, and this is still in that phase of the year, at least for me anyway as a coach, where you're throwing guys out there, which you're really trying to get more out of anything. Just go 7 minutes hard, guys, right? Just go 7 hard minutes. And now you see these guys doing out there, they're both putting shots out there, they're both hanging on, they're both giving it everything they have. In this last minute, there's a takedown, 3 points there for Bubba Wilson. And that's nothing more than just going out there and wrestling hard for 7 minutes.
Good work there from Bubba Wilson, now 4-1.
My time, he landed on his head. I want to make sure the wrestler's okay.
So this is safety situation. You heard the ref say he landed on his head. I want to make sure he's okay. And with concussion protocol, there is no time limits. As Bubba Wilson, that trip, Skillings hits pretty hard on the mat.
Yeah, unfortunately hit his shoulder first.
So concussion protocol here.
Not fortunate for his shoulder, but
right now it's injury time. Until he tells me. Right, so we're fine. But listen, it's my time. I'm gonna
I'm a little bit confused on that, Jimmy. He said it was injury time.
He said it was, but he also said it was my time. Official review that gives him a little bit of chance to collect himself, I think. Sometimes, Shane, when you pops his hips up and does that sweep.
Maybe looking for near fall points?
No, I think he's...
Yeah, you see one swipe. I mean, that makes
yeah.
sense that it could be checking for near fall.
Yeah. I thought his shoulder and his hand landed first. Yeah, his head did hit the mat. And, speculate on anything like that. But I think that's what he's reacting to, is you see that the eyes were kind of rolling back a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a situation like this before with this sequence, the way it's played out.
There is no near fall.
So no near fall.
Okay, we're good. We go.
Well, The referee may have been reacting to the reaction that Skillings kind of gave him after his
Yeah,
hit.
because if it was
the mat.
injury time,
Yeah.
then Wilson would have had choice, and he went to pit top. So I'm not exactly sure what that all meant, but at any rate, 45 to go in the third period in a 4-2 match.
4-2 score.
That three-point takedown, if Skillings can find a way to get one, can steal this one late.
These guys are working hard, though, Shane, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They're
You
just
can just
coming
see
at it.
perspiration in both guys.
Urgency, both guys. Skillings with a shot there.
Wilson doing a nice job keeping territory, staying right on that M logo, butt to the center. Hand fighting hard. And Bubba Wilson of Nebraska will get the 4-2 decision. So that win puts the Cornhuskers out in front, 13.